Please call the police. Worried about my retirement, had saved up 30 million yen. Immediately after my eldest son moved out, I could not find it no matter where I looked. I called my oldest son while my second son handled the situation, including calling the police. Then my oldest son said, with great force, "Don't call the police." I was surprised at the force in his voice when he said don't call the police. But I had already called the police. I am Kelly Johnson. I worked in the city at a young age, then got married and gave birth to 2 sons. My 2 sons, Stephen and Kevin, are already married and have families of their own. My husband passed away early due to illness. When I turned 65 years old, I had successfully reached retirement age from my job. I had been worrying about my retirement and had been saving $300,000 steadily. Therefore, I am not worried too much about my life at the moment. I am of age, and it is time for me to think seriously about various aspects of my future. At that time, Stephen, who had been living with me all his life, was going to move out of the house. I knew the subject would come up at some point. That is because Stephen's wife, Anna, had told Stephen some time ago that she did not want to take care of her mother-in-law. I myself have no desire to have Anna take care of me. On the contrary, Anna could neither cook nor do any housework at all. So I had to do all the work for Stephen and his family. Stephen, have you decided where you're going to live next?
Well, we haven't decided yet. I will decide soon.
When you decide on a date to move, let me know. Kevin and his friends are going to take us on a trip to celebrate their retirement.
I understand. I'm saving up money now, so as soon as I'm done saving, I'll move out immediately.
I called my second son, Kevin, to let him know that Stephen was moving out. Kevin said, if my brother is going to leave the house, I'm worried about my mother's security. Why don't we install security cameras? Also, if my mother lives alone, there is a big chance that she will be targeted by burglars, he advised. That's true. It's been saying on the news that elderly people living alone are easy targets. Besides, the trip I'm planning to take with Kevin's family is a bit long. Indeed, since no one was going to at the house for quite a while, I was a little bit worried. It is better to deal with these things quickly, so I purchased a security camera that Kevin had researched for me. As a result of rushing the order, it was going to arrive tomorrow. We had no idea that this security camera would play such an important role later on. One day, a few days after Stephen and his wife reported that they were planning to move out, Anna asked me about the moving expenses.
Mrs. Johnson, to be honest, I've been fired from my part-time job, and I can't raise the money to pay for the move. I'm really sorry, but can you lend me some money for moving expenses?
What? Wait a minute. You said you were fired from your part-time job. Anna, what did you do?
Mrs. Johnson, please lend me the moving expenses. Please.
Anna asked eagerly, so I hesitantly agreed and gave her the money she needed to pay for the move and to live there temporarily. Please pay me back, really.
Okay, I will pay you back.
She always replies properly. As I thought to myself, I have to talk to Stephen about this. A few days had passed by. However, Stephen did not want to proceed with the preparations for the move. Noticing this, I became worried and asked about the situation. As a result, I learned a startling fact. Stephen, aren't you going to move out? The other day, Anna asked me about your inability to raise money for the move, and I lent you some money.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
What? Wait a minute, wait. I was so shocked that I stopped thinking and asked Stephen one more time with my eyes wide open. Well, Anna had said she would pay back the money after you moved out.
Seriously, I didn't know. So, how much did you give her?
Well, $3,000 for moving expenses and temporary living expenses for after the move.
What? There's no way I can repay that kind of money because I'm working as a temp right now.
But Anna asked me to lend you the money for the moving expenses. I was so surprised that I could not keep my voice down. While I was talking with Stephen, Anna came home. I rushed to the door and asked her what happened to the money I had lended her for the moving expenses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I spent about $3,000. You have money, so it's fine.
No, it's fine. What on earth did you spend $3,000 on?
A branded bag and some new clothes were cute, so bought them. But I can't repay the money until I find a new part-time job. I'll pay it back little by little after I find a new part-time job. Don't worry.
Well, I could not help but be appalled by Anna's statement. You know, I am already retired. If you don't return the money without fail, I will be in real trouble. Do you understand?
Shut up. Okay. I understand. Is this what people around here call bullying the wife? It's really a pain in the ass. I can't wait to get out of this house.
Anna is self-centered and says only what is convenient. I seriously regretted lending money to such a child, no matter how much she was Steve's wife. Today, my second son Kevin and his family were scheduled to come to the house. Kevin's wife, Ellie, is a very hard worker. Today, she would be taking advantage of her paid time off to come over with her 1-year-old grandson. They were going to take her on a trip soon as a retirement gift, and we were going to set a date and other details. Stephen had not yet come home from work, so it was just me and Anna at home. Kevin and his family are coming to visit my family today, so why don't you help out too, Anna?
I'm going to do it too. I just got new nails done, so I can't cook or anything.
Okay, you can set the table and do the shopping, right? Kevin and his family will be here around noon. Please help.
I mean, you cares more for Kevin than for Stephen, don't you?
That's not true. I haven't seen Kevin and the others in a while, and he's coming home, so I want him to relax. Even after explaining this, Anna seems not to get it and looks dissatisfied. I have never rated my sons as good or bad. Stephen and I probably get more benefits than Kevin on a regular basis because we live together. Then, I haven't seen Kevin in a long time. Some favoritism is inevitable. Anna's personality is somewhat difficult, but she has never compared herself to Ellie. However, Anna hates Ellie and is always poking at her in some way. When Kevin and his family arrive, Anna looks at Ellie in a way that is almost rude.
You're still dressed as plainly as ever. If you're going home to your parents for the first time in a while, why don't you take a little more care? You're going to be seeing your mother-in-law.
Anna would never think of doing such a thing. But this time, she asked as if she was standing up for me, which was actually a bad thing. Don't worry about that. She's just in a bad mood. My follow-up might make things worse. Ellie was looking down apologetically. Anna always abuses Ellie in this way. Seeing her in such a state, I can't help but defend Ellie, but Anna doesn't seem to like that. When I went to the kitchen, I gave her a quick warning. Anna, can't you talk a little nicer and get along with Ellie a little better? I feel sorry for her.
I'd like to get along with her too, but Ellie's gloominess makes it impossible. Why are you defending Ellie? I want you to stop treating her differently than me.
I don't mean that. We don't like the way you treat Ellie. It makes me sick.
As I thought. Is it because they have grandchildren?
I'm certainly happy that they have grandchildren, but I'm not giving any special treatment or favoritism on that account. Anna glanced at me and then sniffed uncomfortably. Humph. I wonder if she got my point.
Why don't you let Ellie do the work of putting this out and all?
Ellie is taking care of the kids.
You see. After all, You are giving her special treatment because she has grandchildren.
Anna became grumpy saying that, and without helping at all. She brought out some alcohol and started drinking. Resisting the urge to say, "You're not a child," I left Anna alone and let her do as she pleased. After a while, I heard Anna and Kevin and the others arguing. I hurried over to them and found Anna reaching out to pull Ellie's hair in her drunken state. Kevin was trying to intervene and stop her. "Anna, what are you doing?"
Ellie is pissing me off. What? You have a child, so you're making fun of me, aren't you?
Then apologetic Ellie apologizes to Anna.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize it bothered you so much. You must not feel happy about me showing pictures of my daughter, Catherine.
Ellie, there is no need to apologize. Anna suddenly got angry and tried to grab you.
After listening to each other's stories, it seems that Anna started the whole thing by making a fuss with Ellie and Kevin. Anna, who was drunk, made a complaint to Ellie that she didn't understand. Ellie, however, was unable to catch up with her understanding of what was being said. And when she remained silent, the story goes, Anna became enraged.
What? It's not my fault. I'm glad we decided to move. What a relief. Ellie and Mother really pissed me off.
Anna yelled at them and started hitting and throwing the plates and glasses that were close. Kevin frantically restrained Anna, and I quickly moved Ellie and my grandson Catherine away from Anna to a safe place. Just then Stephen came home and was stunned to see the devastation in his house. Stephen hadn't been home in a while, and I had no idea it would be in such a dismal state. Once there, Stephen took care of Anna and managed to get the situation under control. When I looked at Ellie as she was cleaning up the room, which was cluttered with dishes and other things that Anna had thrown, she looked apologetic. There was a bit of a struggle and things got a bit sloppy, but they managed to safely decide on a travel itinerary and other details. Kevin and the others were smiling when they left, so I was feeling a bit relieved when Stephen asked me to come into the living room for a minute. By the way, Anna was drunk and asleep in bed.
About me moving out, we've decided to do it a little earlier. We'll be leaving the on weekend.
What? You mean this weekend? Is the money okay? Have you decided on a house?
Anna said she's going to take care of it. I'm sorry, but I'd like you and Kevin to help me out to save a little money for the move. Is that all right?
I don't mind. Kevin left a while ago, and I'll have to call him.
That's the thing. Could you please contact him for me? After what happened earlier, it's difficult for me to call and ask a favor.
You're right. I understand. I'll contact him. Without hesitation, I immediately gave my consent. Anna would be more or less at ease once she was away from this house. I thought that perhaps Anna was feeling some strange pressure from living with me. Judging from the way Anna was earlier, it might be hard for her to see Stephen. But I thought it would be good if she and Stephen could spend time together peacefully, with smiles on their faces. I called Kevin and the others when they returned home and explained the situation. Kevin and his family agreed with me and gladly agreed to help with the move. A few days later, today was the day Stephen and his wife planned to move out. After seeing Stephen and his wife off, I returned to the living room. Actually, starting from tomorrow, I'm planning to go a trip with Kevin and his family. Thank you for today. With this settles, I hope Anna and Stephen can be at ease.
It's fine. It's favor from my brother. It would be nice if things calm down some due to this.
So Kevin and his family could take a break. I served tea. While they were enjoying their break, I returned to packing for trip. I knew I would need some money for the trip. Thinking that, I opened the drawer where I had kept my savings. When I opened it, I was so shocked that I couldn't speak. Kevin, oh my God, when I rushed to the living room where Kevin and his family were. They were looking at me with surprised faces, wondering what had happened. My savings, my bank book, where I had been saving little by little for my retirement, is nowhere to be found. When I said this, Kevin and the others rolled their eyes at the suddenness of the situation. Huh? When? Why? Was it a thief? What should I do? As I panicked and fretted, Ellie fearfully asked, how much was in the bank book? I've been saving it for a long time. $300,000, wasn't it? Kevin and the others froze at the amount. Kevin, we've been robbed. Call the police. I said this to Kevin in a voice close to a shout, and he hurriedly picked up his cell phone. Come to think of it, what about Stephen and the others' stuff? A robber had come. It would be a problem if while they were unpacking their belongings, they noticed important things were missing. I quickly called Stephen. Stephen, our house has been burglarized. I don't know when they got in, but please check if anything important or expensive is missing when you unpack.
What? What do you mean? Mom, calm down. Can you explain it to me so I can understand?
I can't find my bank book anywhere. There was $300,000 in it. It's no longer in the place where I had stored it. Stephen asked fearfully after a short silence, as if confirming something.
$300,000? Are you sure about that amount?
I'm sure. I've been saving that money for my retirement little by little, ever since your father died. I'm even contacting the police right now. As I desperately tried to tell him, Stephen shouted in a surprisingly loud voice, "What?"
Wait a minute. Don't wait.
Ellie called out to me as Stephen was getting quite impatient.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sure you installed a security camera in this house the other day, right? Did you put one in your room?
Oh, yes, that's right. I installed one in that room too, just in case something happens.
Why don't you go check it?
I had forgotten about it until Ellie told me, but I had indeed installed a security camera in my room as well. To check, I hurriedly took out my computer that I had stored in the closet. I am not familiar with computers and don't know how to use them, but it is very hard to remember how to operate the security camera with my cell phone. Kevin noticed that and gave me a computer he was no longer using. I entrusted the computer to Ellie to check the security camera footage. Ellie operated the computer with ease and seemed to be able to check the footage immediately. But she was immensely surprised. Seeing Ellie's reaction, I immediately looked at the computer screen myself. No way. At that moment, Stephen's voice echoed from his cell phone, which was on a call.
Wait a minute. Don't call the police, because Anna will get strange suspicions.
I listened to Stephen's appeal as I was about to lose consciousness. Half an hour later, Stephen and the others, looking rather hurried, drove back to the house. I was seething with anger as I stood in front of Stephen and the others.
Have you already called the police? Sorry. It's a slight discrepancy. A misunderstanding. I'll explain it to you properly, so will you please not call the police?
I'm sorry, I already called the police. It's too late for that. You're going to explain it to me, aren't you? What is it? As I was saying this while holding in my anger, Stephen looked toward Anna with a worried look on his face. Anna says I haven't done anything wrong while staring into the distance. Anna's attitude made me even angrier.
I heard that. This was given to us. Besides, if you call the police, Anna will be arrested. I'll return it now, so will you please forgive her?
Saying this, Stephen returned my bank book. When I checked the bank book, I found that a considerable amount had already been deducted. The cost of moving and the cost of the apartment I was moving to. What Anna had meant when she told Stephen I'll do something about it was to use the money in my bank book without my permission. The security camera in my room clearly showed Anna taking the bank book out of the drawer. I've told you many times, you know that, don't you? This is my retirement money. Why did you take it out without permission? When I questioned and asked Stephen and the others, Anna sniffed and insisted, It's obvious.
I've been living here with you and was treated terribly. It's only natural that I should receive this as property division, right? What's wrong with that?
What do you mean by treated terribly? I've never done anything like that. Anna, you can't do anything, even the housework. But did I ever force you to do it? You ate 3 meals a day, didn't you? So, what's your problem? Anna's face turned red like a boiled octopus, and her eyes were fixed on me.
I was always compared to Ellie. It was like she was telling me to give her grandchildren. It was very painful. She's so happy, saying things like, "It's been a long time since I've been home," and even inviting me over to her house. I was in mental anguish.
Anna makes such paranoid claims. Even if it were true, I could not forgive her for this incident. Stealing something that belongs to someone else, no matter what the reason, is a crime. Do you know that you are a thief?
I also live in this house, so what's in it is also mine. Isn't cruel to call me a criminal.
Anna, who was stating nonsense, started to cry. Stephen said to me, asking to forgive her, "Mom, I'm really sorry. Please forgive her. Please?" I wondered if he thought he could be forgiven for stealing $300,000. I was getting angrier by the second at Stephen, who was half-heartedly responding to me, and Anna, who seemed to not grasp the situation at all. Then Kevin, who had been listening to the whole time, suddenly stood up and slammed his fist on the desk.
What have you been saying all this time? Saying whatever you please? This is ridiculous.
Kevin glared at Anna with a furious look on his face.
How can you behave like that toward your mother after living freely in this house for so long? Even from a third party's point of view, she treated you well and with respect. Also, Stephen, why won't you tell Anna that what's wrong is wrong? Stephen, she's your wife, isn't she? Get a grip.
Kevin's anger showed no sign of subsiding, and he turned his attention to his brother Stephen. Stephen, with a sweaty, worried expression, gulped air.
It couldn't be helped. I seriously had no idea.
You didn't know. It's not just this time. Why didn't you warn her? It's because you don't warn her that your wife does whatever she pleases. Besides, this isn't Anna's house. It's Mom's house. How can you interpret it as taking you can take it without permission? That's a crime.
Kevin said and pointed at Anna. Anna was offended by Kevin's attitude and behavior and made a very disgusted face.
Huh? What are you talking about? You mother's boy. Why is it my fault? You're so cocky even though you're my brother-in-law. I'm older than you.
Of course you're in the wrong. Why don't you think it's wrong? It's not right. I'm mad about incident with Ellie too. Why should my wife be bullied around by someone like you? Do you have any idea how worried Ellie was?
Perhaps overwhelmed by Kevin's momentum, Anna turned her gaze downward in the other direction. Ellie hurriedly calls out to Kevin. She must have decided that she needed to calm her husband down. Ellie's words helped him regain some composure, but he still could not forgive her. Kevin stares at Anna the whole time.
I'm sorry. It's true that I let Anna go unchecked. This is just an excuse, but even if I told her, Anna wouldn't listen, so I gave up.
Stephen said that and then fell on his face. Anna says, "Why don't you take my side? Take my side." But Stephen did not listen to Anna's request.
This is too cruel. You should be on my side.
What are you talking about? Stop it already. It's true that you stole Mother's bank book.
When Stephen told her this, Anna became hysterical again. She smashed a nearby vase and took it out on him, then turned away with a sour look on her face. Then the police rushed into the house. Perhaps the sound of the earlier breaking of the vase was loud and echoed outside. Anna, who had started flailing at the sight of the police, gets restrained and looks toward us. I tore my gaze away from the police and glanced theatrically at the security camera. The police looked at it and saw the video of Anna stealing the bank book and took her into custody.
Steven, say something. Clear up the misunderstanding. Save me.
No, I can't do it anymore. I can't defend you.
Why are you saying that? Steven, help me.
No matter how you think about it, you're too selfish. How can you blame your faults on others, on my mother? There's no way I can defend you.
Steven took his gaze away from Anna and looked down, trembling a little.
I've run out of patience. Anna, let's get a divorce.
Anna stood there stunned, perhaps shocked to hear those words, and stopped resisting. Wait a minute, Steven, are you sure about that? That's not a good idea, is it?
Mom, even I warned her at first, but she didn't listen to me. She just keeps running away whenever her situation gets worse. I can't continue this marriage anymore. I don't think I'll be able to withstand it.
Steven had been worried over Anna quite a lot. Hearing it as a sad cry, I could no longer blame Steven. After all, he's my son. Maybe I was being naive. After seeing Anna off to be taken away by the police, Steven sat dejected and lifeless. Later, the police interrogation revealed that Anna had also committed marriage fraud. Steven, who had been quite distraught by this incident, was shocked by the follow-up. He was told that he would not be able to avoid jail time for Anna's crime. Steven and Anna's divorce was then finalized. Anna had to refund the money she got from the marriage fraud and pay property division to Steven. Steven unbelievably offered to take care of a part of the money. Anna had to pay for the marriage scam. The reason for this was to take responsibility for his failure to properly stop Anna. After that, I went on a trip with Kevin and his family. It was very fulfilling and fun to spend a long time with my grandson Catherine for the first time. Steven and I live together as before. Steven is working hard toward his goal of quitting his temporary job and getting a full-time job, although it is because he has to pay off the debt. The slightly unreliable Steven is gradually looking forward and growing. I am happy to see him so close to me.